Your MIDI drums sound fake. Not bad, just fake. And it's not the samples, it's the way you program them. Today I'm gonna show you how to make MIDI drums feel real. And if you follow along this video, your drums will sound 100 times more realistic than before. So the first rule is that harder is not better. So at first it sounds powerful, but later it will definitely break your mix. And it's because the harder you hit something, the more attack you have. It sounds more like a click, like a snap, with less body. And in the chorus, I would go from 80 to 90%, and in the verse, a little bit less. Let's start with a kick. Before. After. And regarding the snare, I would do the same, around about 80 to 90%. And what I would do when you have a snare and after that comes some space, I would do this one more as an accent and make it a little bit harder. And the other one, for example this one, a little bit softer. So we have this triplet here and no drummer would do this. So the first one would be the punchy one, the second one a little bit less, and the third one probably even less. And with doubles you have to do it by feeling. Personally, in this case, for example, I would do this one a little bit smaller and that one a little bit bigger. And on every beat, I would definitely choose something with like more attack. So a higher, let's say even 90%. Cool. And after those, let's go with more like 80. And those again, down here, 64% maybe, 60. And let's have a listen. Now let's come to the overheads. So what I would do is on the 2 and the 4, I would have them play around 70-ish. And again, this is for the chorus. For the verse, I would do it even less. And let's check this out. Very cool. So the next thing is quantizing. No drummer hits the same twice. As the kick is kind of leading the band and giving it the groove, it can be a little bit looser, while the snare, in my opinion, hits with emotion and therefore needs to be a little bit tighter. For this, I would not do it by hand, or almost not. I would just use a humanization tool, whatever DAW you're working with. For me, it's Studio One. I would just right click on humanize, and then I can either add velocity range and add note start range. The second one is what I'm interested in. Here is like how loose I want something, and for the kick I want it to be somewhat tight but a little bit humanized. So let's give it like a -11, 10. Check it out. And as you can see, it's a little bit off the grid. Let's listen to it. And now the snare. I want the snare to be humanized as well, but I want the snare to be, well, a little bit tighter. So let's put it maybe onto like 4 minus and 3. And as I said, the cymbals, they can really be a little bit looser. So for example, let's take -12, -13, and +14. You see, and they are quite off grid, but still in a good way. And the next thing we're gonna add are ghost notes. So ghost notes are quiet and subtle hits. I mostly use them on the snare, but also sometimes on the kick. So you can use them either before a snare or after a snare. Let's try it out. I would definitely do the velocity range of 20 to 40%, somewhere like here. I would also put them somewhere where they actually have a little bit of space. Here maybe a faster one. And if you hear them clearly like this, then they are too loud. So dial it back. Maybe here one. So, and let's add one that is maybe before, not just after. Let's take this one, for example. Definitely also use them for kicks. Let's check it out. Again, velocity range somewhere between 20 and 40%. You can obviously also do that for the overheads. For example, here. And do that more regularly, like this. And maybe even paste it. Copy and paste, copy and paste. And another take is be careful on fast beats, because too many ghost notes will ruin the groove. So on a high tempo, choose less rather than more, and only add them when they add a feel. Now you might say, this sounds more human, but I want more transients or more body. In that case, you can simply play with samples. Let me show you. I've got 2 kick and 2 snare samples. One is for transient, and one is for a thick low end. And in the snare, I have this layered one, and I have this more ringy one. And what I would do here, definitely, I would cut out the ghost notes here. Like this, 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 this. Because as samples, you don't need them. Velocity-wise, I would just go with the same, if not maybe a little bit more. Now it sounds like this. Sounds cool. And lastly, think about quality first. A mix is only as good as the files that it has. And that is why it is just crucial to think about those things when producing. Quality first and everything else comes second.
If this video helped you, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to this channel.